We just have to have a bit of a relaxed session before we get back into this. It's so good, isn't it? Welcome back to Paper Perjury. And let's start the second half of this case. The, interrogation. Here I am again, outside the interrogation room. I took the opportunity on the way over to clean up my notes. You seem nervous, Miss Assistant. Of course I'm nervous. Interrogating one person was hard enough. Now I have to do it with a lawyer in the room. I'm not qualified for any of this. Why aren't you handling this? You should think more highly of yourself. You got a perfect confession record. Most detectives would kill for that. Yeah, perfect record of one. Terrible thieves are one thing. I dealt with customers trying to swindle my dad enough times to handle that. A terrible thief who was actively trying to confess. I've never dealt with a lawyer. She's just another obstacle in the way of the truth. Remember, nothing she says can change the facts. It's a test of logic and reason, same as before. As long as we have the facts on our side, the truth will reveal itself. You're gonna get us a confession, Miss Assistant. I'll keep Mrs. Eubank off your back. If anything goes wrong, I'll be the one taking the fall. I trust you to see this through. What if we miss something? What if Mr. Curry is innocent? Well, that's what we'll find out. Just trust your instincts, Miss Assistant. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, let's go. Hold it. Miss Earl, what's wrong? Ernest, I don't know what you did back at the estate, but the chief is livid. He wants you in his office immediately. Oh? The chief will have to wait. We have an interrogation to conduct. This isn't even your department, Ernest. If the chief finds out... I've ever led you wrong before, Sue. I need you to trust me on this. Keep the chief busy. I'll handle him after this is done. I never saw you. If you two mess this up, I won't be able to protect your jobs. This applies to you too, Justina. No. If I lose this job, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. Don't worry about that. We have everything we need to win this case. We only proved he went to Chandra's room. We don't have grounds to arrest the man. When the police arrived this morning, Ferris was with Detective Swift, and Owen was snooping through to Chandra's bedroom. Oliver's the only one unaccounted for. I hope you're right, Detective. Let's get started. Here we go. Oh. Now that we're all here, let's get started. Oliver Curry, now that you have your lawyer, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Were you in Miss Lear's bedroom this morning? While my client acknowledges that he was indeed in Miss Lear's bedroom, he denies having anything to do with her attack. My client was simply looking for Miss Lear. Upon finding out she was not in the room, he left. Wish it was that simple. Someone attacked Miss Lear, and it wasn't the thief. Miss Yor and Miss Lear were working together. You have no reason to attack Miss Lear. Have you considered that they might have had a falling out, Detective? Perhaps this Miss Yor wanted the money for herself. Either way, my client is not involved. Mr. Curry, why were you really in Chandra's room at the time of the attack? I was just looking for her, I swear it. Slap. Why were you looking for her? Does it matter? I have a right to privacy. Zip. You don't need to answer that, Oliver. Look, Detective, I don't care what sob story that thief gave you, but you have no grounds to try to pin this on my client. Anna might be a thief, but she wouldn't simply kill her dearest friend. And I'll stake my badge on it. You have no proof my client was at the scene of the crime, only at Miss Lear's bedroom. We'll see about that. Mr. Curry, just give us your official statement as to your movements at the time of the crime. Tell him the truth, Oliver, and this will all be over soon. Here we go. First course, visiting Chandra. After finishing breakfast, I decided to speak with Chandra privately. Hold it. What exactly did you want to talk to her about? Don't answer that, Oliver. Miss Smith, why is that all that important? My client has a right to privacy, you know. Zip. Unless, of course, you can shed some light on the matter. I'll leave it. Let's move on. I don't actually know if there's a penalty system at all, or game overs. I thought she was in a room. When I looked, she wasn't there. Hold it. Did you have some reason to believe she'd be in her room? Well, after she delivers breakfast, that's normally where she goes. Wasn't she asked to clean Mr. Eubank's golf club? Why wouldn't you think to check there? You'd spend all day asking whys and why nots. My client checked a room, not the trophy room. Unless you have proof otherwise, let's move this along. Hold it. Slap. Quite the assumption to make. But how do we know she wasn't in the bedroom still? I just told you I didn't see her. Well, yeah, but maybe she was hiding in the wardrobe. And why, pray tell, would she be doing that? I have some more questions to ask you. Let's continue. Slap. That's where we think she called from. But she could have called the police from anywhere. Then how exactly did her body end up in the trophy room? I shouldn't have to explain this to you, but bodies don't teleport. Maybe the culprit moved the body. I think we wouldn't notice someone dragging a body around the house. Fair point. Still, something doesn't seem quite right about all this. Hold it. Mr. Eubanks say what he was doing there? Like, say, looking for something. You've slandered my husband enough for today. Leave him out of this. Oh, lesson learned. Don't bring your husband into it. All right. Oh. Hold it. Why didn't you just keep looking for her? Seems a little strange to just give up so easily. I can't just leave the kitchen unattended for too long. If Toasty were to show up. Besides, I still had the cleaning to do there. What a lovely job you did of it. The kitchen was immaculate. I knew this would be harder. Too soon to give up. If Oliver is the one who attacked Chandra, then she couldn't have been attacked in the trophy room. Think of what would have to be true for that to be possible, and you'll find your answer. Way to prove Chandra wasn't attacked in the trophy room. Do I have anything like that? Objection. She could have called the police on her own telephone. However, they'll just claim that she used the trophy room phone. If I can prove she couldn't have used that phone first, I can probably make this argument work. Oh shit. Slap. Objection. Slap. It's true, Mr. Curry, that there's a phone in the trophy room. However, Miss Lear could not have used that phone. When we checked the trophy room, that phone wasn't even connected anywhere. Preposterous. Huh? How do you know that phone was disconnected prior to the attack? Have you considered that the thief could have done that to try to cover their tracks? Besides, where else could she have called the police from? I'm glad you asked, Mrs. Eubank. Allow me to show you. This is what Miss Lear phoned the police on. Take that. There's the phone in Miss Lear's own red room, which had been damaged, almost like the phone was dropped. The voicemail she left was abruptly cut off when she was attacked. The phone breaking would explain that. Like, you think you could read the phone number the call came in from? Although I suppose... if it's like the landline of the house, then calling from any of the phones in the house might use that same landline. Which would render that point moot, but the other point would be the trophy room phone was disconnected in the wardrobe. Like, is there even a place to connect it in the wardrobe? That's complete conjecture, Miss Smith, and you know it. How do you know that Miss Lear's phone wasn't already broken? Miss Lear was in the trophy room. We already know this much. Allow me to explain. Ooh. Rebuttal. A delightful explanation. I've already established that Miss Lear was in the trophy room. Not only is that where her body was found, there's also a solid reason. Owen had asked her during breakfast to clean one of his golf clubs. It is clear she never had a chance to do so, as the thief intercepted her then. I thought Oliver would be the only one we'd had to question. It's her job as a lawyer to speak on behalf of her client. Well, let get to you. If Oliver is guilty, her argument is sure to have a hole in it. What if Oliver is innocent? If that's really the truth, then that's what we'll reveal. Don't focus on finding a lie, but rather why the evidence doesn't support her claim. This is false. Hold it. I agree. She must have been there at some point. She couldn't have left and returned to her. You could have just left and returned to her room. Why was her body in the trophy room then? Maybe she came back before she was attacked? Miss Assistant, you realize that would mean Oliver didn't attack her, right? I'm just speculating on possibilities. Let's carry on. Hold it. Why was the landline there disconnected then? As I stated before, perhaps the thief hid it away to cover their tracks. That's ridiculous. Why would a thief hide a phone? And why did the thief break into our home in broad daylight to begin with? We can speculate on their reasons all we want. Unless you have proof of otherwise, let's drop it. Hold it. Wait, he mentioned that a friend wanted to borrow it. But why make her clean it right away? Couldn't it have waited? My husband spends most of the day in the office. He doesn't encounter Chandra often. He saw her during breakfast, and so that's when he mentioned it. Chandra is always prompt at her duties. If you ask me, I think he just wanted an excuse to search her room. But we're not going to bring that up right now until we have clear ties to bind her on it. Hold it. How are you so sure she didn't have a chance to clean the club? Just an assumption. I can't imagine another reason she'd be lingering in that room. Sounds like I can prove her wrong here. She won't have much of a leg to stand on. There's no way she could have been cleaning the club in the trophy room. Or Mrs. Eubank is claiming she never had the chance to. Just need to prove her wrong. Partially dirty? Objection. Slap. Mrs. Eubank, Chandra was asked to clean the golf club, was she not? She was, but she clearly never got the chance to do so. There's an issue there. She did. We found the golf club partially cleaned. It must have been interrupted while cleaning it. Well, I suppose you're correct. It's clear that the thief attacked her while she was cleaning. My argument stands firm. I wouldn't be so sure, Mrs. Eubank. There's a critical flaw in your theory, and I can prove it. Miss Lear couldn't have cleaned the club in the trophy room, and this is why. Take that. The cleaner for the golf club was found in Chandra's bedroom, not the trophy room. It's clear that Chandra took the golf club into her bedroom. And as she was cleaning it, she called the police. That's when she was attacked. And hang on, how do you know she didn't just wet a rag with the cleaner and take that to the trophy room? Akin to bringing a packet of ketchup instead of an entire bottle. That'd be impossible. Other than that trophy room with the golf cleaner on it besides the golf club. And how did the club get downstairs? Why is the cleaner upstairs, but not the club? If our culprit wanted to make it seem like the trophy room was the real crime scene, they would need to move the golf club. They brought the club down with Chandra. Since the cleaner was stashed away in her dresser, they likely didn't notice it. Quickly, whoever attacked her must not have realized that Chandra hadn't finished cleaning the club. Completely baseless. This is all nothing more than just a pet theory. And there is one thing you've overlooked during it. What would that be? You have yet to explain why exactly Miss Lear would call the police from her bedroom. Allow me to explain. Allow me to elaborate. A tea poorly brewed. Oh, Miss Lear was in a room. Why exactly would she call the police? Hold it. Perhaps she had a change of heart. After all, from what Fee told us, it seems your husband was suspicious of Chandra. She could have feared for her life. Slap. My husband was nothing but good to Chandra. She was family. My husband suspected Chandra's involvement in the robbery. He would have spoken with her civilly. I suppose that wouldn't cause someone to call the police. There must be something in that room that would have made her afraid. Hold it. How did the thief even get to her? The window only unlocks from the inside. She could have had the window open. Why not just shut and lock the window if she saw the thief? You don't act rashly when they are afraid. She must have thought the police were her best option. I guess she has a point. Bearing the worst. Hold it. Why would she turn her back on the attacker? If she saw her coming, wouldn't she choose to face her? I can't explain her actions, but Detective Swift played us the recording earlier. I could clearly tell from her voice that she didn't know she would be attacked. She's right. I doubt she saw her attacker. But why? Now this is the question. Hold it. What do you mean? She clearly called the police because she saw someone coming. She was cleaning a golf club. Why exactly would she call? Maybe the phone call is unrelated to the attacker. Maybe something to prove that? I think we do. It's the camera, right? Do we really have to play Mrs. Eubanks' game? We need an ironclad case. Otherwise, we won't be able to make this stick in court. I have no choice. And I have no choice. Time to break the statement. And she's wrong about the thief. What caused Chandra to call the police? That'd be this, right? Objection. Slap. Mrs. Eubank, were you aware that your husband was spying on Chandra? Oh? Excuse me? Was waiting for a spit take. What on earth are you talking about? Why, that's a slanderous accusation. Detective, rein your little assistant in before she gets herself into trouble. Oh, Miss Assistant. There was a hidden camera in Chandra's bedroom. When we found it, it was broken. It's clear Chandra had found the camera in her room while she was cleaning. After breaking it, she decided to call the police. Must have been attacked at that moment while her back was turned. And how do you know that my husband put it there? Well, he admitted it. I think my assistant got a little too eager there. Someone certainly put a camera there, and Chandra did break it. Okay, he did not admit to spying it. He did admit to taking something from her room. Officially, we have no means to trace who put it there. I'm glad that's settled. As for the camera itself, what makes you think she found it today? What if she found it on a different day? Nibble. That's because... Different day. Chandra found the camera on another day, she would have reported it. Then she didn't. That means she must have found it today. Perhaps nobody was spying on her to begin with. Maybe she was using that to keep an eye on her room like while she was gone. Well, that's... Let me try again. Oh, that's right, it did. Slap. We found some fresh golf cleaner on the camera. The same that we found in her. The same that we found in her room. It was tried some on her hands when she discovered the camera. If she found the camera at any other time, it would have dried up by now. Oop! Ah. It's clear now that you're going to cling on to this pet theory of yours. And all this time, you failed to consider that Chandra was not found in her bedroom. Her body was found an entire floor below. Bodies don't teleport. My client couldn't possibly have moved there. And why's that? I'll let my client explain. Right, here goes. Second course, an impossible escape. Even if I attacked Chandra, the only exit to the room was the door. Mr. Eubank saw me leave the room. He would have noticed me carrying her body. Mr. Eubank was in Chandra's room the entire time. He would have found her. That's why I couldn't have attacked her. If Chandra was in the room with Oliver, isn't that enough proof? The body was found on the floor below, but there's still room for doubt. No judge would ever accept a guilty charge without more evidence. What about a pro-police judge? We could stack the deck in our... Justina, do not willingly engage in police corruption, my girl. Don't be silly. Judges are picked randomly. They don't just have one judge to handle every case we come across. Not like some systems. Much for doing things the easy way. Girl, please, why do you even get that? Why do you even get those thought like that? Goodness gracious. Hold it. Assistant, when you went up there, did you find any hidden doors? Nope. There's only one door in the whole lot. There's only one door in the whole room. Oliver would have had to enter through there. Mr. Eubank had to have entered through the same door. If the body was moved out of the room, it couldn't be through the door. Thanks. Hold it. Did you say anything to him? I told him that Chandra wasn't in her room. Did he say something to you? Not much, just that he was looking for something. I was when he searched her files. But it seems unrelated to the attack. Hold it. Objectively correct. What if you hid the body in something first? Anything big enough to hide a body, and my husband would have noticed. If I had anything like that, he would have mentioned it. Well, he did lie to us. Twice. He'd have no reason not to mention that. Hold it. That. You could have hidden the body somewhere in that room. That's why he didn't find it. Then you just moved the body after he left. It didn't take long for the police to arrive. My client wouldn't have time to move a body by then. Maybe so. Let's move on. Hold it. Well, if you don't know how you moved the body, you could still have attacked her. If that's your argument, I'll enjoy ripping it apart in court. Focus, Miss Assistant. There's a flaw in here somewhere. We can't make this case stick unless we find it. You could at least do a better job of helping me find it. Objection. What's that? Actually, Mr. Curry, there is another exit. The window. The window? You think I threw her out of the window and she landed in the room below? You want another exit? The window is an exit. I'll explain that the window is open. If that's your angle, then you really are desperate. It should be obvious why the window couldn't have been used, but allow me to explain it for you. Oh, okay. Out of the window. It was simply impossible that Miss Lee was moved through the window. Hold it. Anything is possible, Mrs. Eubank. You just have to be a bit creative. There. Then why don't you use your head a little bit and explain how it was done? Well, you didn't have to be so blunt about it. Hold it. That's true. I'm not implying that Oliver chucked her body out of a window. It was he put something below the window for her to fall on, like a big pillow. Did you find anything like that? Well, no, but... Unless I have something like that, this won't get me anywhere. Covered in dirt. This is where the bedsheet's gonna come into play, isn't it? Hold on. Yeah, how do you know those were her only injuries? When you found it this morning, I helped Detective Swift quickly check that she was alive. The only wound she had was on her head. Seems that I need to give her a good talk about having potential witnesses check bodies. That does line up with what we were given. At least Oliver wasn't out to kill her. If she had an injury nobody noticed, I should move on. Hold on. Hey, detective, could a person be lowered from such a high place? It should be possible, assuming you have the right equipment. Oliver would have had to brought it or used something found in Chandra's room. And with all this theory, I need to find something that can be used to lower Chandra. Otherwise, it's best to move on. Bedsheets involved somehow. Oh, okay, it's here. Slap. Objection. I'd say there was a way she could have moved through the window unharmed. Got a bedsheet stuffed away in the trophy room. The sheet itself was covered in dirt, meaning it likely touched the ground outside. After attacking Chandra, Oliver wrapped her and the golf club in the sheet and simply lowered them to the floor below. No, hold on. That she could have always been there. How do you know it came from Chandra's room? That's easy. This is how we know where the sheet came from. Take that. When you investigated Chandra's room, you found that her bed had been stripped of its sheet. You never found that sheet anywhere, because it was stuffed in the trophy room the whole time. What's that? You can't be serious. I am serious. Just look at him. Oliver's clearly strong enough to have lowered Chandra with a sheet. It's the only way her body could have been moved. I believe that's all we need to prove that Oliver is the culprit. Enough. Why are you so determined on pinning this crime on me? This whole time, you haven't even considered that your whole case is missing a key ingredient, a motive. Chandra is not only my coworker, but a friend. We're very close, her and I. Why would I attack Chandra? I have no reason to. Unless you can prove a motive, you've got no ground to charge me. Motive, huh? Guess I hadn't considered that. I don't think I'd Oliver want to attack Chandra. This is it, Justina. Time to drive the nail into his coffin. You want motive? I got your motive. Truth is, clear to me, Mr. Curry, that you cared about your job a lot. You made that point abundantly clear when we questioned you earlier. I think you never wanted to attack Chandra, but something happened that left you no choice. Fee told us that she spoke to you about Chandra's involvement in the robbery. I think you went to talk to her about it, and when you noticed her calling the police, stop. You attacked her in the heat of the moment. Uh-oh. Had to be one question. What was the weapon? The weapon? Ah! We never found the weapon! We have it in the court record. As I suspected, you never did recover it. The culprit has to have taken the weapon with them. If my client was the culprit, he would have surely found the weapon somewhere. Must have hidden it somewhere. Tried calling Detective Swift. They can't find anything there. I demand to be set released immediately. Without a weapon, you have nothing. Didn't you make this perfectly clear? Oh, we've got you here. Final course, recipe for failure. The weapon isn't in the house and it must have been taken. Hold it. Detective, are you sure Detective Swift checked the whole house? He searched every square inch. Nothing is turned up. Must have been taken out of the house. Doesn't sound good for Chandra. Hold it. Oh, nobody's left the estate of the police. Hold it. That's not completely true. Both of you are here now. Because you forced me here. Both of us came straight here from the estate. If you had a weapon, you'd have seen it. I suppose so. There's no way I could have taken a weapon out of the house. Well, not that we know of, at least. What do you suspect? A carrier pigeon? It's your job to prove that. If you can't, then good luck getting a verdict. Gotta keep looking. Not carrying any weapons. Hold it. Detective, did you check him for weapons? What you see is what you get. Certainly not hiding anything under his chef hat. Yeah, it's called a toque. I've never hidden anything under it. What you see is what you get, huh? You have nothing on me. Hold it. What's that? You have everything on you. We just don't have a weapon. I'm sure a jury could be convinced. And by all means, let's take this to the trial. We'll see how strong your case is then. Sorry to say, but we need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. We can't find that weapon. Don't worry, Detective. I won't let you down. Detective, what do we do? I don't know. The whole case is based on circumstantial evidence. And he saw that there's no jury in the world that would convict him. Where could the weapon be? Detective Swift said it was a flat, blunt object. Is there anything like that could have been used? I wonder what it could possibly be. I'm not carrying any weapons. Are you sure about that, my friend? Objection. What's that? There's one place none of us have looked. On Oliver himself. According to Detective Swift, the weapon was a flat, blunt object. Just like that frying pan he has now. Looks like looks like your trusty frying pan has been used as a dyeing pan. The same frying pan he arrived at the crime scene with. That's why nobody has found the weapon. Nobody thought to check Sherry. Yeah. Oliver, we need to test your pan for blood. But why? Just look at it. No blood in sight. We have washed the blood off, but traces can be found with the right tools. Of course, if you're innocent, we wouldn't find anything, right? Stop. This is your last chance to confess, Oliver. Once we test that pan, it's over for you. Oliver, please tell me that they're wrong. No. I can't. Oh, boom. Oliver, how could you? I'm sorry, Ferris. I never intended for any of this to happen. But why? Chandra was family, Oliver. Fee told me that she was hiding in the trophy room when the robbery happened. Told me Chandra was taking money from the safe. Confronted Chandra and she told me that the money wasn't adding up. She said she was going to expose the Eubanks, one way or another. I tried to convince her to change her mind, but she wouldn't listen to me. Then, at breakfast this morning, Owen kept pressuring her. He knew she was afraid. He told me before, but that she was considering calling the police and confessing to what she did. I went to go talk to her privately about it. When I entered her room, I heard her on the phone. She was about to confess. I couldn't let her do it. I didn't know what else to do. This job had meant everything to me. After being rejected everywhere else, I had a real job. When we were arrested, I would lose the best job I ever had. I couldn't go back to my family. I wasn't thinking. Before I knew it, she was on the floor. I had no choice but to frame the thief. Thought then, Chandra would be safe. I took up your defense because I believed in you. Thought you were truly innocent. I trusted you. I'm so sorry, Ferris. Getting his formal confession, Detective Hunt escorted Oliver away. Oh, Miss Smith? Miss Smith, before I go, I thought I should apologize for how I acted in there. I should be thanking you. Thanking me? Thought you would hate me. Painful as it is, if you didn't step in, the wrong person would be charged for Oliver's crime. Huh, maybe you're not so bad. Your husband I have questions about, but you seem alright. Isn't easy, but at least some good came from all this. There's one more mystery hanging around this case. That everyone believes that your husband is embezzling money from this charity. We spoke to him earlier today, he denied it. He was clearly spying on Chandra, and he took something from her room. Is it possible that he stole evidence from her room? Of course not. We've run our business together for years. He would never do that. We even publicly agreed to pay the stolen half out of pocket. Isn't that proof enough? I take this proof, I really do. But it's Detective Hunt you have to convince. Seems I misjudged you. If you want to accuse my husband, at least be upfront about it. Uh-oh. I'm not accusing him. I still think he's innocent. It's just... all this isn't really adding up. I'm going to make sure the police handle my former friend fairly. This conversation is over. Whoa, okay. Maybe you're... I might have stepped on a landmine. Well, she looked pissed. Hey! You alright, Justy? I could be better. I keep thinking about where that money went. Might have pushed her too far. Did you just get back? Yep, headed back here as soon as I could. In any case, let me be the first to say. Congrats! You did it! You solved the case. I'm so proud of you and Red. It wasn't just us. Your work helped too. You were the key to connecting Owen to the scene. Without that, I never would have known about Oliver's involvement. That's not traffic cop work, that's grade A detective work. Yeah, girl. Hi. Thank you, Justy. That means a lot. Hey, tell you what. Why don't you tag along with me for drinks later? We can have a proper celebration then. Heck yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Great. Zephyr and I will be waiting for you when the shift's over. Before that, though, I think there's one person we've forgotten about. Wait in the interrogation room. You gotta go grab Red and the guest of honor. I have a feeling I know who she means. Oh, who's that? Oh! Now that we're all here, I want to give you the news. Monsieur, you're no longer being charged with assault. Ah. Oh, what about Chandra? He's still recovered from her injuries, but she's woken up. We expect to be able to talk to her tomorrow. Now, of course, the robbery charge is being dropped. Both of you will still have to answer for that crime. I expected that, but still. Thank you for finding out who attacked her. I am truly thankful. Take back what I said earlier. You aren't evil. But you are still cops. If you continue to cooperate with our investigation, I'll see if the district attorney can provide you with some leniency. Wait. What investigation? Isn't it over? Not yet, Mr. Assistant. I still have those embezzlement claims to look into. Sue spoke with the chief. Apparently, they both agreed to let you continue to be my assistant. You'll work with me again, and we can finally uncover the truth behind everything. want to believe Mrs. Eubank. Embezzlement isn't necessary for someone wealthy like Mr. Eubank. Yet until I see the answer myself, I can't take her word for it. I'm in. Let's get back to our desks. A lot of work to get done. I gotta do my actual filing job first. I've rest my day doing my actual job, paperwork. I didn't see much of Detective Hunt. Miss Earl told me that once the chief found out what happened to Mr. Eubank, he got the biggest dressing down of his career. At the end, the fact that we still solved the case is what saved him from demotion, or worse, death. Today was a day that truly changed my life. I don't know what's in store for me in the future, but I know, whatever it is, will be far more eventful than I could have ever imagined. Ooh, question mark, question mark, question mark. Hello, sir, did you need something? Lowell, my boy, I'm glad you came. Some information has come onto my desk that I need you to look into. BG Turtles LLC. I want you to get me everything you can find about this company. Yes, sir, right away. This would go much smoother without the police snooping around. He's up to something. Bruv is up to something. Onwards and upwards, then. March now. Please, I need just a little more time. I'm sorry, but this isn't up for debate. The chief says it's closed. The chief says it... oh, God. If the chief says it's closed, it's closed. But been long enough. We need you working elsewhere. I have to finish the case report at my desk by the end of the day. Yes, ma'am. Who's that? Oh, it was back in March. We're still in April now. It's only my second make at this job, but I feel like I've aged 10 years. How was so much paperwork piled up so quickly? When I die, I'm reborn into a paperwork-free life. Are you monologuing to yourself again? Miss Earl, I'm ready for the new day. That's the spirit. I wanted to tell you, Chandra was finally released from the hospital. She's waiting in the interrogation room. Much as I would love to have you do the job you were actually hired for, this is far more important. Everyone else is already waiting, so get going. Yes, ma'am. The interrogator clerk. Oh, Chandra. Oh, Ferris. Hi. Welcome to our little get-together, Miss Assistant. Chandra, this is Justina Smith, my assistant for this investigation. Nice to meet you, Miss Smith. Miss, you already confessed to your involvement in the robbery, so we can skip over that. However, she also claimed that you believed the Eubanks were siphoning off money for the charity fund. Do you have any evidence for this alleged embezzlement? I do. I keep all my records in my room, behind the wallpaper. Unfortunately, we already checked there. All we found there was your passport and some unrelated documents. It's impossible. Someone must have taken it. We have reason to believe that Mr. Eubank may have taken something from your room. If you had proof, that's likely what he took. This is slanderous. You have no proof of any of these claims. It's clear she never had any evidence of this supposed embezzlement. You dropped this while you were head detective. We are perfectly within our bounds to investigate these claims. If you intend to interfere, you can exit the room. Nothing more to say? Good. Chandra, we need to get your official statement on these matters. I'll tell you everything I know. I kept track of the donors to the Klaus charity, as well as the accounting. After doing the math, roughly 25,000 alms were missing with the charity money. That money was redirected to a shell company called BG Turtles LLC. If we didn't grab the media's attention, it would have gone completely unnoticed. BG Turtles LLC. Have you heard that name? You know why this money was missing? No. But I couldn't find any legitimate reason for the money to have been transferred like that. I hope you realize without any evidence, all we have here is your testimony. And your testimony doesn't exactly give us much to work off of. Nevertheless, we intend to investigate these claims. Sam, you can't be serious. She's already proven herself as unreliable, and you're going to take her word on the matter. Want to find out the truth behind this, Mrs. Eubank? Surely you should have no problem with that. With that, I believe we can conclude this meeting, and I'll be leaving. Chandra, afraid to say that, as of now, you're officially terminated from your job. know you've been through a lot, but we have no other choice. We can collect your things when this is over. Wait! He stormed off in a hurry. I can't say I expected anything else. Embezzlement or not, I still committed a crime. I suppose I deserve this. If it means anything, I promise we'll see this through to the end. We should go, Justina. I hate to just leave, but it's best we get going. Find out who's behind BG Turtles, LLC. Please tell me leaving the interrogation room with a sense of guilt isn't normal. You only feel guilty if you've done something wrong. We have nothing to be ashamed of. Sue will look after Chandra for now. We have a case to solve. We barely have anything to go on. How do we even investigate this? We couldn't find anything about the Eubank estate. That means the next place to look would be at the orphanage itself. But if the orphanage was involved, does that mean it's possible there was no embezzlement? Mr. Eubank could have been holding on to the money for safekeeping. We'll have to keep an open mind. By the way, the orphanage should contain all the answers we need. So, ready to go? Yes, sir. Hold on just a minute, you two. Uh-oh. Mrs. Earl? What is it? If you're going to the orphanage, you'd better take a look at this first. Don't you? She knows everything that goes on in this station. What do you have for us? Do you remember that vandalized car report from last month? Of course I remember. It's the face of pure guilt I've ever seen in one. On March 14th, the orphanage director was involved in a crash after the brakes on his car failed. Oh, right, that case. Wasn't Sophie assigned to that? She was. The landlady reported that the brakes in Bill's car were vandalized by an unknown person. Boss. However, she never found the culprit. The director ended up asking for the charges to be dropped after we failed to turn anything up. Why didn't you help, Detective? She was promoted early that month. It was her first big case and I wanted her to solve it on her own. Otherwise, she'd just think that it was all me. I see. Poor Sophie. The case might be closed, but it's a good reason to reach out to Bill. It's just to keep the embezzlement to yourself until you can figure out what they know. Detective Swift and I will see what we can dig up on BG Turtles in the meantime. Shouldn't she be joining us? The car crash was her case. That's why she can't. The case is closed. You're not there to solve it, it's your cover. But still, do I make myself clear? Yes, ma'am. Here's the case report. It should get you up to speed on things. 5 weeks ago, March 14th, 2 p.m. He's been notified of a car accident at the Klaus Orphanage, Bill Klaus. The director crashed into a tree after a brake failure. Carefully tampered with. An homicide. Unknown suspect fleeing the scene around the time of the accident. Huh. Alright. Thanks for taking this up for us. What the hell did you just find the file? Everyone asks, you asked me to find it for you. Oh, and Justina, when you solve this case, and take it easy on the drinking. I know what you and Sophie got up to after these cases. How did you... Oh, forget it. That's Sue for you. Now, let's get going. Is it possible to keep anything a secret around here? Not with her around. You could get as wild as you want, just, don't ride Zephyr. Don't drink and ride Zephyr. I thought we were going to the orphanage. This looks like a motel. I used to be. Eubank Investments helped convert this old motel into an orphanage a few years ago. Time was the orphanage's only choice, so they took it. You sure do know a lot about this place. Director and I go way back. Met him back in high school. We can talk about that later. Let's head over to his office. Alright. Still thinking about Chandra. Why'd you get fired like that? It was rough. Well, I certainly don't hold much respect for the Eubanks. But you could tell Mrs. Eubank didn't want to do that. If you were in their shoes, would you fire her? No, I wouldn't. I'd give her a second chance. What about you? I think I'd have to. She broke their trust. Justified or not, you can't really recover for that. Well, what I can really do now is solve this case to ensure her firing wasn't in vain. Yeah, we'll do it for gotta say, this is a bit of a dreary-looking building. Not that my apartment building is much better. May not look like much, but to the kids here, it's home. Older building. They keep it in good shape. I'm surprised it's still here. Land it's on probably isn't worth a good amount. Maybe so. I'd rather see it used for something good like an orphanage rather than some luxury condo. You got a good point. The city's already seen so much gentrification. Ooh, there's some pretty yellow flowers over there. Nice to see some greenery amongst all this concrete. Let's see, looks like there's a sign with them. May all who live here grow as strong and beautiful as these poppy flowers. The flowers are put there by Mrs. Eubank. But to see them still here. Sounds like Mrs. Eubank, that's for sure. What if Mrs. Eubank is genuinely has good intentions, and is just falls in behind protecting the family? You know we could have parked closer. This lot is pretty empty. I don't want any children to see a police car pull up and think there was trouble. I always park further away when I visit. Why would they think that? When a child runs away, the police are called. When a child needs protection from a bad household, the police are called. I was thinking what these kids worried about is Bill getting in trouble. Personally, I feel like these things should be left up to social services, not us. That's especially the handle cases involving children. That's what they're trained for. Never considered any of that. Hey. Based. Here I was only thinking about walking less. Good man. Looks like a garage. I don't think I've ever seen a motel with a garage. Original owners of this place used to live here, so that's where they stored their vehicles. Now it's used for maintenance. Wonder what's inside. I don't know what to see. Maybe we'll swing by there later. Alright. Oh. Someone's got a mess. Hello? Anyone home? Ernest, what are you doing here? Well, good to see you. Let me introduce you to my assistant. Justina, this is Bill Klaus, director of the Klaus Orphanage. Bill, this is Justina, the newest member of the precinct. Nice to meet you. Congrats on joining the force. Thanks. Do I seriously look like a police officer? Back on topic, why are you here? Can't an old friend just say hi? You never come here just to say hi, Ernest. What do you want? You got me. I heard about the accident last month. Never did catch the culprit, so I wanted to change that. Not this again. Look, Ernest, I already told the police to drop it. It's water under the bridge now. Well, here's a police officer, but it's a friend. Someone almost killed you, and then get off scot-free. Kind of impressed at how we could lie about our real reason. Then why wait a month? And he saw right through it. This isn't really my jurisdiction. I'm not supposed to be investigating this. It's considered I'm finally entered by loose cannon cop phase. Loose cannon cop phase? If I had to do quickly, the chief would throw the book at me. He's likely forgotten about this case by now. Fine, whenever. I believe you. I really don't have much to say about the matter, but I'll tell you what I told the last detective. I had just gotten out of a meeting with the landlady when I headed for my car. Meg was fixing it up for me. I didn't see her around, so I figured she was done. I barely left the parking lot before the brakes failed and I crashed. Meg? Who's Meg? Thankfully I was driving slowly, so I wasn't hurt badly. I can't say the same for my car, though. I haven't been able to drive it since. Meg? You mean your Meg was working on it? Yep. All those years working with the landlady is paying off. Who's Meg? When Bill set this whole place up, she was one of the first kids here. Never thought I'd see her all grown up. She doesn't want to go to college. She just wants to work in some mechanic shop. I keep telling her that she's capable of more, but she won't listen. Let her live before she becomes old and crusty like us. Speak for yourself. I'm still strong as an ox. You could be too if you ever joined me at the gym. Old and crusty like us. You are both 35. Oh god. But also relatable. If Jim ever gets robbed, I'll be there right away. Till then, a detective's job is never done. Right. Always with the excuses, Ernest. Well, since you're here, I suppose you can stay for a while. Not much, but it is home. Ooh. I wanted to ask, why would an orphanage in a motel? It's so unusual. It is, but this is an important location. It's within walking distance of both Whitehall Academy and the Church of the First Lotus. Providing a good academic and spiritual education took priority over everything else. Whitehall Academy? It's a pretty prestigious school, best one in the city, amidst all grades. Plus, it's free for anyone who passes the rigorous entrance exam. All the children here go there? Yep. I created this orphanage specifically for children who could attend Whitehall. And I met brilliant children like Megan. I wanted to provide that opportunity for them. Any child with the aptitude could come and stay here. Why set up an orphanage just to be close to a school? Can't the kids just live whatever and still go to Whitehall? In theory, yes. In practice, no. Before coming here, some of the kids lived over an hour away, excluding traffic. Time adds up. Most would rather go to a closer school. To them, school is school, each one the same. But it's not. Where you learn impacts your whole life. Bill speaks from experience. Lived outside the city but still showed up early every day. It's like he slept in that school. Unlike you, who practically ran into class right before the bell rang. Every single day. Hey, I still got perfect attendance. Oh, if anyone knows the importance of a short commute, it'd be him. Mine may seem small, but for these kids, it gives them the time I wish I had. In any case, this was the only place I could get, so I buckled down and got it. Might have seemed crazy at first, but we made it work. The lady could give you more details. She's in her office today. She's in a meeting right now, but knowing you won't let that stop you. Alright. When you head there, Mr. Assistant, let me know. Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about. Why are you so against Meg being a mechanic? It sounds to me like she found her passion in life. She's capable of so much more. Her grades prove it. She could attend the best college in the city. Instead, she just wants to work on cars all day. I only found her passion because of this chance you gave her. Isn't that a success? You know, my parents were pretty adamant that I go to art school when I graduated. They're both artists, so it made sense to them. They thought I had a lot of potential for it. I didn't want to disappoint them, so I did it. I like art. I learned a lot. But ultimately, it wasn't for me. And now, all I have to show for it is a degree I'll never use. My actual job is the furthest thing from art you can get. Push Meg to go to college for something she doesn't have any drive for. She'll just be wasting her time. Time she could be spending pursuing her true dream. I suppose you have a point. Give it some thought. Hey. Why'd you ask the police to drop the case? Don't you want us to catch the person who caused it? I'll tell you the truth, I already know who did it. You do? I thought... Well, if Swift says the kid didn't do it, he didn't do it. Hold on, what kid? Just some kid from the area. He went to school with Meg and graduated last year. When we went around about the crash, he took credit for the thing. And you're only saying this now? Why wouldn't you want him arrested? Detective Swift had already looked into him. You know, he's nothing more than a graffiti artist. If he says he did it, he did it. But nevertheless, a lot of employers turn people down for a criminal record, no matter how small. I don't want to ruin the kid's life. If he didn't actually do it, then why take credit for it? How about we find out? Sophie wrote down where he hangs out. Let's go pay him a visit. Alright, we got a lot of leads. I didn't know that so many kids were capable of going to such a fancy school. I certainly couldn't. My childhood was spent struggling for a passing grade. There's a lot of children that, because of their circumstances, can't live up to their true potential. Orphan children in particular are pretty vulnerable to being ignored by the system. People don't think much about education for these kids. I think all they need to do is wait until they're adopted, thinking little about what happens if they aren't. That's why I fight against being a traditional orphanage. I want to break that stereotype. They all deserve a bright future, and I intend to give it to them. Now I feel bad for the kids who can't make it in. You're not alone, but Whitehall thankfully offers tests for all grades year-round. So if they fail once, they can always try again next time. The Klaus Orphanage might seem strange, but there are a few places with such lofty goals. I hope one day this place becomes the standard, not the exception. I hope so too. I wonder who's upset about the robbery. This place means so much to him. I forgot the Church of the White Lotus was near here. My parents often used to take me there when I was younger. Getting the kids to attend is the hardest part. Both of them try to avoid coming if they can. I'm gonna say let them choose if they want to go now. You're wasting your time if you force them. Are you not religious, sir? Religion and I don't get along. I respect our faithful. But you won't see me step inside a church willingly. Gods can afford having one less faithful among us. You shouldn't say that. Your next life might be as a flower or a bee if you're not careful. Yeah. Ernest never joined us at the church when we were younger. Even if you start now, the best he'd get is a fish. I'll take my chances. Promise me that if you see a handsome fish in your next life, you won't eat it. Interesting. Oh, more evidence here. Alright. Excuse the mess. I haven't had time to tidy things up. Like a teenager's bedroom. You help me clean up? No, I'll get to it later. So, never? No comment. Let's see. The orphanage's ledger. I just for last month of 15,000 alms. Paid them all on time. My dad could learn a thing or two about record keeping. I write this down before I get caught snooping. Alright. This painting looks familiar. Oh, Sean tried the same painting in her room. Hey Bill, where'd you get this? It was a gift from the Eubanks. It had some cheesy line attached to it. With hard work and diligence, anyone can soar to great heights. Bryce is coming from a family born from wealth. Like someone stuffed with food, wondering how anyone can go hungry. As tone deaf as it may seem, it's inspiring for the kids. I, for one, would like to think we could live in a world where that's true. This that explains why it's mass-produced. Maybe Chandra keeps the painting in her room for the same reason. Curious. What's a nice-looking TV? It was part of the motel before I moved in. There's one just like it in every room. Must be tough getting the kids to focus on homework with all those TVs around. That's what I thought, but all that's on them is public access in the news. Turns out the landlady's family never paid for more than the most basic cable package. Now I feel bad for them. Got a lot of sticky notes here. They're called sticky notes for a reason. He's been stuck to them for his entire life. It's a small price to pay in order to keep track of everything. You've got receipts here from last month. Talk about organized. I don't remember the last time I kept a record was a receipt for anything. Whenever Meg or I order anything, I keep the receipts for at least 3 months. Looks like she ordered brakes at 1:15 p.m. on the day of the accident. Better write that down. Yeah. Interesting. Leaving trash on the floor. My teenage room was cleaner than this. But what's this? Redline insurance. Just throw it in the trash can, it's worthless. Isn't insurance important? That's where I get my car insurance from. They refused my claim for repairs after the crash. Why? It's not your fault. Try telling them that. They used every trick in the book to make it seem like I was real responsible. So I gave up. I have kids to take care of and other life obligations. I don't have time to fight a claim like this. But you shouldn't give up. It's your car. Fortunately, that's how they get you. Wear you down until it's too much of a hassle to keep going. People at Redline might as well be running an organized crime ring. Doesn't matter anyways. I was able to get the money together to repair the car myself. I feel bad for Bill. We can settle this soon. Take note of this letter. Curious. Hey, it's a spinny chair. You have some in the office, but this one looks way more cozy. If you have to sit on a chair all day, you need something good to support your back. This was the best investment of my life. Hey, detective, think Sue could get us these chairs? I think that would require you to stay at your desk for more than an hour. Well, it's worth a shot. Alright, now we can skadoosh. Whoa, that's a fancy office. This is quite the office. Ah, it's you two again. Ah, Ferris? What are you doing here? My husband and I wanted to make sure our relationship with the Klaus Orphanage remains intact. We're not going to stand around while you drag our company's name through the mud. What? You could even say that they want to make your company disappear. Who are you? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the wondrous office of the world's greatest illusionist, Maggie Sean. Maggie Sean, ha ha ha. Hang on, your office? You're the landlady? She's not at all what I expected. Sure am. Now pick a card. I hate to ruin the magic, but her real name is Anne Card. Parents owned the motel before the orphanage was set up. Ferris, I told you to call me by my stage name. I spent a whole night coming up with it. But nice to meet you, Maggie Sean, world's greatest illusionist. I'm Justina Smith, world's greatest police clerk. Aha! I knew you were a cop. My magical intuition told me so. A police clerk isn't... A magical... Intuition also says you are here to talk about some kind of embezzlement claim. Impressive. Your magical intuition is right yet again. I told Annie, Maggie! You know, this office is quite cluttered. Perhaps you should have it in... On second thought, Annie is fine for now. Right, as I was saying, I told Annie about it. If there were any bad apples here, she would know. In that case, what can you tell us about the charity? Well, I can give you the basic rundown. Alright. Eubank Investments raises money for the orphanage each year in accordance with the national charity standards. Any money raised by the Klaus charity can only be used directly by the orphanage. Each year an audit takes place to ensure money is properly handled. Over the past 5 years we've raised money, we haven't failed a single audit. Alright. You lawyers sure know how to say very little with a lot of words. Anything more would be against the interests of the Eubank Investments. Say, Annie, you ever heard of BG Turtles? Pick a card, I'll tell you. We know nothing about that, I assure you. Stop ruining my tricks. Oh well, this is worth asking. Since we're here, you mind if we ask you about the car crash last month? Oh, that? I thought Bill decided to drop it. We'd investigate that matter as well. It's like a waste of time, but whatever. What do you want to know? Can you tell us where you were before the crash? Sure thing. I had a meeting with Bill around 1:30 p.m. that day. I took a break about 10 minutes later, and I showed off one of my tricks. Finished up around 1:55, and that's when Bill headed out. I saw someone running away from the building around then, but I couldn't make out who it was. Then, moments later, like magic, boom, Bill crashed his car. Interesting. Thank you, Annie. Why don't we look around a bit? Excuse you, but we're in a meeting right now. Perfect, you can keep talking while we look around. I don't mind. I got nothing to hide. Just don't go around trying to figure out my magic secrets. Magician never reveals those. Goody. Alright. Well, seems like a good point to leave off. For now, our, very intriguing, Maggie Shawn. Landlady. Inherited the title of landlady from her parents. That makes more sense. Alright. Until next time. Until then. God bless.